Four ordinary guys with extraordinary ideas for Disney parks. This is Main Street Musings,
the experimental podcast of tomorrow.
That's right, you are listening to Main Street Musings, the experimental podcast of tomorrow. My name is Jake, and I am joined today by our very own foolish mortal, Brock. Ooh. Summon the Eric with your tambourine.
That's a tambourine noise. Hello.
And beware of hitchhiking Tanner.
Yo, can I get a ride?
That's right. Today we are talking about Haunted Mansion with the 999 Spooky Dookie Haunt. Not Spooky Dookie. That's not a...
Yeah, that's what he says.
Spooky Dookie.
The ghost host says, we have 999 spooky dookie haunts.
But perhaps in our new version of Haunted Mansion, that is what he will say, because today we are destroying Haunted Mansion. Much like we did with Space Mountain, we are going to be updating Haunted Mansion to make it worse, whether it be a retheme or an overlay or just straight up changing it entirely. Looking at you, Eric, Mr. Spaghetti.
Hey, we kept the Space Mountain track. Like, that's... I feel like that's totally fine.
Yeah, last time we did one of these, we voted on what was the worst possible idea. And while that episode was fun, it also broke me.
I am very nervous, but also excited to go back into the dangerous realm of trying to create something awful. Brought all of us to a new low. And hopefully we can get even lower today.
Yeah, we're playing limbo.
I have a feeling we will.
With our pitches today. Hello. Hello, can you go?
How's everybody feeling about their ideas?
Very bad.
Is that good or bad that you feel bad?
Yes.
Okay.
I feel speechless about my idea.
All right.
And I hope you are too.
Just so that we're all in agreement, when we get to the voting section, we are voting for the worst one.
I personally think, I think we should maybe not look at it that way. We should maybe start just looking at, like, which one do you want to talk about the most?
I think that for me, it's going to be the same thing.
Yeah, that's fine too. But I just, whatever you think you want to talk about the most.
Fair.
Okay. Let's just dive right in with our pitches here.
It's the part where we make a pitch. Tanner.
All right, so for my pitch, we are going to be retheming the Haunted Mansion attraction to the Haunted Mansion 2003 film starring Eddie Murphy.
Incredible.
Now, this is going to be a pretty big restructuring of it because, first off, we're going to be putting some Evers and Evers real estate signs in front of all of the haunted mansions. We need them to know this haunted mansion is for sale, and it's our job to go in and get some pictures to put up on our Zillow account to sell the haunted mansion. The next big change is that cool graveyard with all the interactive stuff that you used to walk through is now going to be the famous beloved tiki bar from the beginning of the film as you are late getting home to celebrate your wife and your anniversary because you're out making a sale to a couple of animatronics there.
Happy anniversary.
Yes, we're going to be singing the Happy Anniversary song over and over throughout the entire queue line. Also, we're getting rid of that dumb, boring ghost host character, and instead we're going to be adding animatronics of an obviously evil butler. And you know that beloved scene with Madame Leota is now going to be a scene where we have a car driven by Eddie Murphy crashing into the building, blaring its horn and flashing lights in your eyes as Madame Leota in her orb sits next to you. And, of course, we can't go have this ride be themed truly to the new Haunted Mansion without taking out some of our beloved ghosts. I'm looking at you, Hatbox Ghost. You're going back, taken out of the park. We don't want you in here because you're not part of the iconic film. And, of course, we'll be adding tons of Latin lessons so we can navigate our way safely through the Haunted Mansion. Thank you.
Wow.
Oh.
What a bad movie.
It hurts.
Not a bad movie. Hurts. What a great idea.
This is upsetting.
All right, who's up next?
It's Brock.
Oh, all right. That is me. So I think when we're taking a look at the Haunted Mansion and we have to change it, I think last time we really changed everything about it, but I think this time the Haunted Mansion is iconic, right? So you want to keep some of those elements. You have a big, scary, spooky house. You still want to keep the scary, but I think there's ways we can improve on it. So the Haunted Mansion is already scary. It's already a little bit silly, but what it isn't, the only thing it doesn't have, is the Haunted Mansion isn't sexy.
Oh, no.
That's right. Looking at the Fox catalog of films,
Oh, no.
Nice.
we're going to fix this with a ride that makes you shiver with anticipation. That's right. We're turning this into a Rocky Horror experience. I think with the Rocky Horror Picture Show in the parks, we can take Disney from the happiest place on earth to the horniest place on earth.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
That's my pitch.
That is incredible.
I have many more details we can discuss later on.
Oh, good.
Oh, man. So does this mean that Dr. Frankenfurter is kind of one of the Disney princesses now?
Dr. Frankenfurter is a Disney queen. Thank you very much.
True.
It looks like I'm up next. I don't think I'm beating that. That's for sure. I don't think I'm beating either of the other two so far. Let's just jump into it. For my pitch, we are taking the Haunted Mansion and changing it into the house of our dear friend, Professor Wayne Zielinski. And the tour of the Haunted Mansion is now, as you go through the elevator that stretches things out, you are being shrunk down to the size of an ant by his crazy shrinking machine. And the doom buggies are now just little carts or ants or something that take you through a very benign trip through the Zielinski lawn as giant foliage rises up around you. And we change the Haunted Mansion into a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids style adventure.
Eric loves shrinking shit.
So once again, you're suggesting we throw out everything from the original ride.
Those are the two schools of thought, right? You either
Yeah.
keep it similar or you throw everything out.
Yeah, and you keep the track and make the track as bad as possible. So a really slow, lethargic journey through the Zielinski lawn that's mostly just grass. Is my pitch for ruining on it, bitch. All right, Jakey.
All right. So I wanted to stick with the spooky feel of Haunted Mansion, and what better way to do that than by picking Disney's classic spooky film. It actually has spooky right in the name. I am talking, of course, about the legendary 5th installment of the Air Buddies series, Spooky Buddies. I am suggesting that we retheme the mansion to become the Manor of Warwick the Warlock, who, as I'm sure you all know, because I know we're all such great fans of the movie, and I don't at all have the Wikipedia page up as I'm speaking to try to remember these details. But Warwick the Warlock's manor, Warwick, as you know, has kidnapped 5 puppies so he can sacrifice them to the Halloween Hound, an evil hellhound who will open a portal to ghosts. But it only works if he has the souls of 5 puppies who share a bloodline, so they have to be from the same litter. So as you know, back in the 30s, his plan didn't go quite so well, and one of the puppies escaped and becomes our ghost puppy, Pip, who we now have 75 years later assisting the Air Buddies when Warwick comes back and kidnaps them. So I am suggesting...
What a horrific premise.
So I'm suggesting that Warwick has once again kidnapped our Air Buddies, and we are riding through the house watching our Air Buddy animatronics trying to escape from the evil ghosts and goblins and traps of Warwick. And of course, this would end with the legendary scene where Warwick summons the Hellhound, but... I'm sorry. He summons the Halloween Hellhound, who finds the puppies, and the puppies get rid of him when Butterball, our favorite character, eats a jar of pickled eyeballs and then farts in the Hellhound's face, which of course repels the magic and causes the Hellhound's soul to be sucked out.
Man, fuck Disney's direct-to-DVD movies.
That being said, I would like to point out that this movie does feature Diedrich Bader, Ryan Stiles, and Tim Conway.
Some Drew Carey alums there, as well as Tim Conway.
Just saying.
Wild.
So that is my pitch. The Spooky Buddies ride that we all desperately need in the parks.
I'm just processing the story of that movie for like a second.
Does that mean we're on to questions?
I think so.
Yeah, I think we can move on to questions.
It's the part where we do Q&A.
I mean, just the standard, what gives us the right, how dare we?
Exactly.
We can get these out of the way early.
How do we feel about ourselves?
Right.
Terrible.
How do we sleep at night? Answer is we don't.
So I have to jump in really quick with a quick anecdote for Brock's pitch, not necessarily a question. But on our Google Drive, he put just the letters RH.
Yeah.
And as he started talking about sexy things, I really thought he was going to go into like Robin Hood, the animated movie.
And he said Fox, too.
Me too. When he
actually
said Fox, I was
was
like,
like-
Brock, everything I said about you is true.
Yeah, and it's like, you're talking about like Maid Marian
Yeah.
being like super hot. Like, what is about to happen?
No.
That's where my mind went
20th
to.
century Fox.
I think all of our minds went to the same place where you
Which
were.
tells us
Yeah, they
like
did.
what our minds are like more than it's about anything.
Well, and that was the thing. I was fine with him retheming it as a Robin Hood ride, but the fact that he prefaced it so heavily about being
Yeah.
sexy was like,
Well, because I think I was in the Disney mindset, so I was like, Robin Hood's a Disney movie.
yeah. And then he said Fox, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's definitely where he's going, but why?
I have a question for Jake.
Yes.
So you described the plot of the movie.
Yeah.
But how does that translate into the show building? How does that
I
translate?
thought I said we would still
into
be
the ride?
We would still be moving through the Haunted Mansion, and aspects of it would be similar, but it would be the puppies would be interspersed throughout the mansion, trying to escape from the evil spirits and the Hellhound, which would be chasing them, and then we would have Warwick, the Warlock, popping up and trying to catch the puppies so that he can kill them and sacrifice their souls.
All right, I have a follow-up question for you, Jake.
Yes.
How heavily can we lean into the idea that these puppies are going to be brutally murdered on this ride? Because that's an important thing for me.
So, like, the Air Buddies, nothing bad happens to them, but if we go back to the 1937 part of the movie, it seems like he is able to do some bad things to some puppies.
That's messed up.
When the Halloween Hound tries to kill Pip, he fails, and Pip turns to stone and then becomes a ghost that haunts the house. And he's the one who tries to save the Air Buddies later.
Okay, so there will be a lot of talk about dead puppies in your ride.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Okay.
I mean, that's very vital to the plot, apparently.
All right, well, that's good to know. That's good to know as I continue to mull over these options.
Yes.
I have no questions. Jake's pitch has made me question my own existence. I live in the void.
Yeah.
I would like to ask, Brock, would this be a musical experience? Would we be getting all of the classic songs from the movie?
I am so glad you asked. So what I've done is I've mapped out each scene of the ride to the song/scene of the movie that it would correspond to.
Nice.
So the graveyard scene, it's a party in the graveyard. We can easily translate that to animatronic Transylvanians doing the time warp.
Okay.
So that'll be a really fun moment. The stretching room, the cue before, we'll hear the song There's a Light at the Frankenstein Place.
Okay.
Just kind of to introduce us to the fact that we're seeking shelter.
Gotcha. Don't go into too much detail
Yeah.
here in case we vote for yours.
I've literally mapped out the whole thing.
is this so mapped out that we don't have much to talk about?
There is stuff to talk about, believe me. There's always stuff to talk about. For instance, how many Meatloaf animatronics are we going to have? That's what I need to know.
Not enough. It doesn't matter how many we have, it won't be enough.
Agreed.
All right, other questions. We're just not questioning things. I feel like of all the pitches that need to be questioned, these are them.
Yeah, there's...
I had a question. It's not my fault people don't have questions.
I've got another one. I've got another question. Eric, how does your ride incorporate certain elements of the Haunted Mansion? I think a perfect example would be the ballroom. That's such an iconic scene and a very big part of the ride that's hard to ignore. So how would you change the ballroom for Honey, I Shrunk the Kids?
So instead of the ghosts spinning around, it would just be like a sprinkler that's like doing like a 360 degree thing. You like you literally just imagine the most boring lawn in the world, and you're just going through it. That's all you're doing.
So we're like on a rock or something, just looking at a sprinkler from above.
I wanted to ruin.
Okay.
I wanted to follow the goddamn prompt and ruin the Haunted Mansion, so that nobody.
Buddy, you're succeeding. No one is arguing that you aren't ruining it. No one is saying that.
I have a question for Tanner.
Yes.
For your version, would you be incorporating Ramsey going to hell at the end? Like, would we see the fire dragon come out of the fireplace and drag him to hell?
Yes, but I want to amp up the graphicness of it to see him die brutally and very prolonged.
Sure, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, great. That's
our, I mean, I honestly have no questions.
Yeah. We should probably just jump into voting.
To the voting. It's the part where we vote. I'll go ahead and vote first as the person with no questions. I want to do the Rocky Horror one real bad. I want it. I want to do it.
Yeah.
Brock, you're next to vote.
To be honest, Eric, you've ruined it so thoroughly that I don't know we could describe anything else. It's been decimated by your pitch. So I think I will have to vote for either Tanner or Jake. And I think I'm going to vote for Tanner just because when I was a little kid, I watched that movie so many times. Not because I thought it was good, but because I wanted to like the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
I think it's a brilliant idea, honestly, to do.
Thank you. I'll vote then?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Eric, your pitches would definitely ruin it, but making it the most boring ride ever really makes it so there's not a lot that we can discuss further in there. And Brock, I think Rocky Horror, while, yes, making it egregiously sexy would ruin it in a Disney park, I don't think it necessarily makes it a bad ride. And also, I will be fully honest that based on past episodes, I worry that we will not have any content that won't be cut immediately from the censorship board. And also, Jake's pitching a plot line in a Disney park where the story of the ride is, hey, are these puppies going to be murdered? I cannot think of anything worse in the target audience than a bunch of parents being like, oh yeah, let's take our kids on the Spooky Buddies ride that we have no idea about because nobody's seen the fucking film. And then in the first minute they find out, oh, don't worry, honey, I'm sure not all of the puppies will be brutally murdered like the one is. So my vote has to be for Spooky Buddies. I think that's just like the most horrific journey that you could take on a ride ever.
When I was reading the plot of that, I had to read that part like 4 times because that was not what I was expecting to come from that movie. And I was like, what am I reading? So does that leave me to vote?
Yeah.
It leaves you.
Okay. So I am torn here. Eric, yeah, you ruined it pretty thoroughly. I don't know that we can add to that.
I'm proud. I'm proud of it.
In a way, that's a win, Eric.
I am excited for Rocky Horror, but I want a Rocky Horror ride. I wouldn't necessarily put it at Disney World, but I want a Rocky Horror ride. So I'm going to vote for the one that I think I would not be surprised if we were actually close to getting this as a real ride. I'm voting for Tanner's re-theme of Haunted Mansion to the movies, which is exactly what they did with fucking Pirates of the Caribbean to the detriment of the ride, in my opinion. And I am shocked that they didn't do it to Haunted Mansion. So this is what could have happened.
Well, Haunted Mansion didn't make hundreds of millions of dollars for them.
True.
It was pretty instantaneously and thoroughly shamed for existing.
Even the video game that they released alongside the release of the film is not connected to the plot of the movie at all. They were already like, let's separate ourselves from it immediately in other production areas.
Amazing.
Well, congratulations, Tanner.
Woo!
Thank you.
I think. Yeah, no. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
As the other winner of the Ruined episode, it's a weird feeling. To win.
Because it's like you want to win, but at the same time you don't.
I don't think I've ever felt so crummy about a win in my life. And I do think the fact that I think we were really close to this theming does make this a scary, interesting alternate reality ride.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I know that Jake and Brock are pretty familiar with the Haunted Mansion film. Eric, how familiar are you with it?
Very little. I have standard.
Rude, but okay.
To be fair, when it came out, he was much, much, much older than us, so he had a comprehension of that he shouldn't see it. We were too young to know better.
Yeah, he was, 58?
2 episodes in a row, guys? Two of them? When did this fucker come out?
2003. So I think I was about to turn 8 years old, and I saw it on Christmas with my family.
Yeah, I was 10.
That would have been my sophomore year of high school. So, yeah, I would have been too cool for it at that point, probably.
Yeah.
It would have not been a good enough trailer for a movie to make you be like, oh, I, a super cool, badass 15-year-old, need to go see a Disney film. This would not have been the one to make you do it.
Yeah.
I'm too busy hitting on girls in goofy costumes to go see that.
Yeah, that would have been that year, actually. That would have been when I was going solo to Disneyland trying to hook it up.
I also like how you chose Goofy, the character that famously has the tallest actor in the park.
Yeah.
He likes them tall.
If my lady ain't 6'7",
I don't want her.
she ain't my lady.
But so to answer your question, Tanner, no, I am not particularly familiar with the movie for any number of rude or non-rude reasons.
Okay, so I think let's go through just a general outline of the plot of the film then, because I think it will also be helpful for some of our listeners at home who may not have the depth of knowledge that a Brock or a Jake have on their favorite film of all time.
Right. And chances are even the people who have seen the film have not seen it in a very long time.
True.
So the film follows Jim Evers of Evers and Evers Real Estate, where they want you to be happy for Evers and Evers, played by Eddie Murphy, as well as his wife, I believe her name is Sarah Evers?
Yes, Sarah.
Yeah. So they receive a mysterious invitation to basically be the realtors for a house that seems to be hours away from them, maybe like a several days journey, and they don't find this strange. It turns out to be the Haunted Mansion. They enter and they meet the strange Master Gracie and his butler Ramsey.
Who in this version is a grown man and not a tiny child.
Master Gracie, he means.
Yes.
Yeah, in the original ride, Master Gracie means master as in child. And for some reason, people read the word master and are like, oh, that must mean they're in charge of the house. So that's what the movie just like ran with, even though that was never the case.
I blame
So,
the Batman movies and their portrayal of Alfred and Master Bruce.
Yeah.
So anyway, they arrive to the Haunted Mansion, and along twists and turns, it is revealed that Master Gracie is a ghost. In fact, they're all ghosts. Shocking.
Well, not the Evers family.
Well, except
The
for the Evers
inhabitants
family.
of the mansion.
But he invited them there because Sarah is reminiscent of a woman he was in love with, and he believes she is like the reincarnation of
fiancée.
this woman. His fiancée, who died many years ago in suspicious circumstances, and kind of left him heartbroken and kind of sent the house into weird hauntedness.
And he hung himself because he was so depressed at her dying. He thought
Yeah.
that she
Yes.
killed herself. So he killed himself. Very Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah. It's a whole thing. But then Jim Evers has to rescue his wife, and he meets all sorts of kooky characters, only like 2 of which are actually on the ride. It's a bad movie.
Yeah.
All right, so the
And
idea
then it's revealed that the butler did it.
shockingly,
The butler killed her. Yeah, he's mad. He doesn't want Master Gracie to marry her. He never says why. He just says, I didn't want you to marry that girl. It's heavily
feels
implied that it's because
racist.
she's black. It feels very racist because Master Gracie is white and she's black. They never say that, but it is like, what else would it be? They don't say
it is
what
heavily
it is.
implied.
So, yeah.
Like by not giving
And
another
I mean,
reason.
It takes place in the southern United States back, like 100 years ago. So like,
Yeah, that seems like something like the director was like, yeah, I'm going to make a commentary on race. And then Disney's like, no, we're not going to let you touch that. But then by cutting the reason out, they've given it even more credence to like what it
Yeah.
is.
yeah,
And
so,
not
like, the
giving a
butler just says,
replacement
I couldn't
reason
let you
at all.
marry that girl. And that was it. He just says, I couldn't let you marry that girl. Done.
All in all, it's a weird look for a movie based on a beloved, fun theme park ride.
Yeah.
Targeted at children.
And then they do have a scene where you go into the graveyard and it's like fun, like in the Haunted Mansion ride. But then there's like a mausoleum and like the girls reads Latin, which has nothing to do with anything. And then they go down into the mausoleum and there's zombies, like scary zombies, not Disney zombies.
It is my favorite plot contrivance in any movie I've ever seen, where they go to this mausoleum and then suddenly they're like, oh, we need to understand Latin to get in. And the daughter says, and you said me taking those Latin classes was a waste of time.
And then she reads the thing in Latin and it turns out it has nothing to do with anything. It's just a warning. Like, hey, be careful when you go in here. That was it. It's not like it saved anything. It's not like it was the answer to the mission. No, that was it. Thank God she could read Latin.
All right. So now that we have the plot of the film out of the way, I think it's safe that we can start going on our journey through the queue line and into the Haunted Mansion. So as I mentioned, the queue line used to be this cool graveyard, right? I think everyone would much prefer it be themed after a tiki bar that sings the happy anniversary song over and over to remind each guest that they themselves are late to their wife and their anniversary that evening. And you see like this delicious volcano cake, but you don't get to eat any while you're in line.
Right.
So I guess
The couple that is singing at you gets to eat it.
Yeah, they eat the cake. The cast members that are singing at you eat the cake right in front of you while you're sitting in line waiting for hours and hours for this new, I'm sure just as popular version of the Haunted Mansion.
Perfect. And I think we can use those first opening hallways of the ride just to simulate the incredibly long car drive that the Evers family takes to get to the Haunted Mansion.
Yes, and we're going to have the whole thing be I believe a minor subplot is that Eddie Murphy canceled their canceled a day of their family vacation to stop at this haunted house to get this job. So the whole time we're going to have a voiceover of Eddie Murphy saying, yeah, and your parents are going to be fighting. You will be playing the roles of the children in this part. So your parents, Eddie Murphy, and the actress that played Sarah, Marsha Thomason, will both be fighting in a car ride, in a simulated car ride for the early hallways until we get to the stretching room.
Neat.
All right.
What happens in the stretching room, Tanner?
Yeah.
I think that's where we should probably get our backstory of Master Gracie's tragic, weird death thing going on. So we can keep I guess we can keep the hanging man, but there's no ghost host to tell us it. There's going to be just an old man.
Yeah, I think what it is it's just like Ramsey reading a very long backstory. It's all just exposition. Just an exposition dump in the stretching room.
Yeah, we take down the pictures. We're going to be in a dining room.
No, that makes a lot of sense to me. So you move out of that elevator and into the room with the statues that stare at you?
Yes.
At least. Is that how it works
Yes.
in Florida too?
It's very similar.
In Florida, the stretching room is not actually an elevator. The ceiling goes up, and then you walk right into the loading dock from the stretching room. And then the portrait gallery is on the ride. That's the first part that the cars go through.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we get to this part, and this is where we find out that there's a thunderstorm going on, so we have to spend the night in the haunted mansion.
The storm has swallowed the road.
Yeah, that's Ramsley speaking.
Yeah.
So the whole time Ramsley is going to be just really explaining things to us. I think that's a fun way to do it.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing for this ride because there's so much plot contrivance that I think having, instead of the ghost host there to explain how the supernatural works, having Ramsley there to explain every beat of the ride would be helpful.
And remind me again who Ramsley is.
Terrence Stamp.
Oh, the obviously evil butler who will look
okay.
obviously evil, and as you can tell by Jake's little voice sample, will sound obviously evil and will also have the obviously evil name Ramsley.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
He might as well have been called Mr. Evilman.
Yeah.
So I think the easiest way to do this is just to kind of, instead of going beat by beat in the rooms in there, we're going to have to restructure some of them to fit the most iconic and beloved scenes from the film.
Yeah, I really like your car crash scene for Madame Leota. So, in the spirit of ruining Haunted Mansion, my suggestion would be to take, like Brock mentioned, the banquet scene and twist those into moments from the movie. So we have the banquet scene, we have the talking heads in the graveyard, we have the hitchhiking ghosts, things like that. So we twist those and put a movie spin on them.
Well, actually, I like that. So instead of having the car crash in the Madame Leota scene, because in the movie, he crashes into the banquet hall. Madame Leota is with him, but he crashes into the banquet hall. So we could replace the hearse that is crashed into the banquet hall with his Ford Explorer or whatever he was driving.
Yes.
And then when you're going through, you can have because I remember it sets off the car alarm when he crashes. Mm-hmm. So the whole time you're going through the banquet, there's just a car alarm blasting.
Yeah, to me, the most important parts are that it hurts your eyes because there's lights flashing in your eyes and it's super loud. And you just have Eddie Murphy being like, I can't believe I did this. Giving comical, but not well-written comedy.
Oh, what if the Madame Leota... So what if the Madame Leota sequence is just the daughter saying, you said that Latin wasn't going to be important, and that's just all she says. That. She has a book in front of her. She's and it goes up and down. So she puts the book down and she's tilts her head. It's all you said Latin lessons weren't going to be anything. Head goes back, book goes up. And that's just on repeat
in front of a mausoleum.
I love that. I think that might be better for the graveyard, we can have the mausoleum. Also, I do think we'd be remiss if we didn't point out that Madame Leota is played by the famously shrill-voiced Jennifer Tilly. And I think losing Jennifer Tilly's voice in this attraction, her nasally whine, not that I love Jennifer Tilly. She's great and she's funny. But I think we could really lean into that. And if I recall correctly, don't they put Madame Leota's crystal ball in a backpack and just carry her around for most of the movie?
They carry her around for a while. But in the scene where he meets her, he is in the seance room, and she like straps him to the chair, and then he's like flying around the room while she's like chanting at him.
All right, well,
And
that's
he's
too
making
fun.
jokes about... Well, he's making jokes about how he's going to poop his pants.
That's right.
That's right.
Just-
So,
Yeah, she says, first you must gain new light. And he goes, first I must gain new underwear.
so there is our new Madame Leota room. Instead of all of the floating instruments, it's going to be mainly Eddie Murphy talking about shitting his pants as the new Madame Leota Jennifer Tilly's voiceover is doing.
And so we then move the daughter sequence down into when you're in the graveyard. Yeah.
I think what this ride needs is what the movie had a lot of, and that's multiple characters all at once delivering quips that don't feel like they're being delivered to anyone and also don't feel like anyone actually wrote them.
That'll be great. In the graveyard, we can have all of those like pop-up heads. Each one comes with a quip that's unprompted towards you.
And it's like, and I thought I was ugly.
Yes, but I think the big thing in the graveyard is going to be that daughter reading Latin outside of the mausoleum, except for we never see what's in the mausoleum in our ride version. We don't have time for that. There's too many iconic moments to pay tribute to. So it is just the daughter.
In the ride, you do go in the mausoleum. That's where you see the hitchhiking ghosts, is in the mausoleum. So we could replace the hitchhiking ghosts with
zombies.
With the zombies. Yeah.
Yes,
Oh, that's awesome, actually. Like, instead of, like, the hitchhiking ghost next to you, it's, like, really scary zombies.
Yeah, like, just make it ridiculously too scary for a Disney park.
I love that.
I like that a lot because it also pays tribute to the fact that the hitchhiking ghosts aren't given major nods in the film, except for another character named Ezra.
Yeah, they have a brief cameo.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
I just had a thought. We can talk about the attic. I think the attic is interesting because, the attic is in the ride already kind of its own self-contained story about Constance Hatchaway. She's the bride, and you see the exposition given through the photographs. So I thought, in the spirit of that, it being a bride, that's where we could do all of the stuff about the wedding and the bride, and we would have a lot, just like, there's already like 3 or 4 photographs that kind of tell the story, but since it's so many plot contrivances, we would need about 70 or 80 photographs. So we just take stills from the film and put them as photographs, so we kind of can explain what's going on between Master Gracie and Sarah. What do you guys think?
I like that a lot. And we can also get animatronics up there of Wallace Shawn as Ezra and Dinah Spivey as Emma, telling us, of course there's ghosts in this haunted mansion. Haven't you been paying attention? And as they also are reiterating and narrating all of the pictures, and they're like, but you can't look in this chest.
Yeah, the chest is in the attic in the movie, and the chest, for Eric's sake, it turns out to be Ramsley's chest, and it contains all of the love letters that Sarah had written to Master Gracie, and Ramsley had been stealing them and hiding them like a deranged squirrel, because he was hoping that that Master Gracie would be like, oh, she must not love me because she doesn't return my letters. But that didn't work, so he had to kill her.
It would be so easy for them to just be like, Ramsley's in love with Sarah. Just say it.
Yeah,
and then you don't have the racist thing.
Yeah.
You, in fact, have the opposite.
Yeah. There were a lot of options left on the table besides just...
I think the first option that's my favorite option is don't make the movie.
Yeah.
Well, sure, but when you're that deep, when you gotta start like Eddie Murphy on the line, you make the picture, okay? That thing prints money, and I did not mean to refer to Eddie Murphy as that thing. I meant the picture.
The picture. Yeah, I got it.
I think we've gotten most of the ride scenes. Is there anything
Yes.
we've missed?
Nothing major. We've touched on at least a little bit of what will be in every one of these scenes.
I'm trying to think if there's any like iconic. I really want to replace the Raven when you're going backwards down the elevator into the graveyard with something funny from the movie.
Well, so I don't know about necessarily funny, but the Raven was supposed to originally kind of guide you through the ride. In the movie, there's kind of that ghost ball, they keep calling it. It's like that orb, and the little boy keeps calling it the ghost ball.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Which, spoiler alert, turns out to be the ghost of Ramsley's fiance. And they're like following it around, and that is what leads them
Of
to the
Ramsley's
trunk.
fiance?
I think you mean Gracie's fiance.
I meant Gracie's fiance.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did I say, Ramsley?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I meant
replace the
Gracie's
Raven with the
fiance.
ghost ball and give it no context, and you're just staring at a ghost
Right.
ball.
Yeah, it'll
Yeah,
be
there's just
all
the ghost
over,
ball floating
and it's
around
just literally
throughout the
like
ride.
an orb showing up
I like that.
in spots.
So we also have to replace the grim grinning ghosts thing. It's too good.
Well, so in the movie, the heads sing that song, but then when Eddie Murphy comes up and starts talking to them, they just start singing other like old timey songs instead.
Yeah, they should be singing one of the old timey songs.
So, like, a lot of royalty-free music. They're singing, like, By the Light of the Silvery Moon and, like, She'll Be Coming Round the Mountain.
Yeah,
And just
I'd
stuff
like
like
to
that.
work it
seriously,
to
that's what
where
they sing in
just
the movie,
like
Eric.
for a split moment you hear Grim Grinning just the end of Grim Grinning Ghosts, and you think, oh, it's gonna play again when I come up there, and instead it's the scene with Eddie Murphy animatronic doing shtick, prompting all of these different royalty-free songs.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's it.
I also would really like to work in the scene near the end where the ghost ball possesses Sarah, Eddie Murphy's wife, and then Gracie makes out with her. And Eddie Murphy is trying to awkwardly explain to the kids that Gracie is not actually making out with their mom. Because that's a classic scene that we need to incorporate. Yeah.
Yeah, instead of bring us your death certificate.
Bring us your mother.
Yeah, that's not your mother that she's making out with. Yeah, the see you next time section. Don't worry, you can come back. That wasn't actually your mom the ghost was making out with.
Don't worry, kids.
Just make sure
Your
you bring her
mother and I
next
are fine. I
time.
know we were fighting in the queue line, but we're actually okay. Things are all right.
Yeah.
We were fighting, and then she made out with another man. But we're okay.
And they don't do it just right, and like in between, like your mother and I are going to be fine. You hear the old voiceover of the lady going, death certificate, and then it just like cuts to a different part of it.
Love it.
All right. And also, quickly, in just the background of that scene, Ramsey's being dragged to hell. So we can get that in there, but like that might be
Yeah,
too
of
exciting
course.
for the ride.
Yeah, that's like in the post queue, like when you're leaving.
Yeah.
So we've taken two very different approaches to these ruin episodes, and I like that. It gives us some open-endedness. Last time we took a terrible, god-awful idea and made it workable. And then this time we're just taking... Well, you
As much as we could.
know what I mean. And this time we took like an overlay and made the ride significantly less enjoyable. I like it. I like the open-endedness of what these can bring.
Tanner, how do you feel about your ride now that we've developed it?
I think I'll be feeling happy forevers and evers.
Okay.
No, I think we did a good job of paying tribute to the movie, leaving no area unchanged. I think the Haunted Mansion 2003 film's about to have a renaissance, so hopefully maybe Disney can look at making these changes anyway. It's a little later, but they kind of started making the changes to the Pirates movie after the high point of that.
Yeah,
So,
like way after the fact. Yeah.
so there's still time to make
Oh,
the changes to this Haunted Mansion, because I know I speak for all of us when I say I'll be very sad when it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I think we should switch over to the lightning round. What do you guys think?
Lightning round.
Oh, right.
That's a yes.
I figured. I thought you had something in your throat.
It's the lightning round.
Okay, we need to do a restaurant themed to George of the Jungle. This is what the wheel's coming up with, guys. Don't give me that look.
So we got Jake first.
All right, so for my George of the Jungle restaurant, I'm going to go with the nightclub from the end of the movie that George of the Jungle's gorilla friend, whose name I can't remember, is the MC/star attraction of, where he sings songs about George of the Jungle. And you can sit and you can watch the show and you can enjoy food, probably of a jungle theme. Maybe a lot of bananas will be involved because it's a gorilla's restaurant. And you'll have a great old time and it'll be fun. That's my pitch.
Fuck you, Jake. That's exactly mine. To the T. To the T. Fortunately,
Sorry.
I'm not next. It's Tanner.
Great minds, Eric.
I know. Yeah, we've been too similar today, Jake.
I know.
Too similar. It's okay. T-Bam.
All right, so for my restaurant, we will be creating a super healthy, nutritious restaurant that's themed like we're in the trees, and it's going to be all how George of the Jungle gets so hot. So all of the options are going to be super healthy, and he's going to be like, if you want a core like this, you're going to need to drink this healthy banana smoothie thing that's healthy, and eat vegan because I'm George of the Jungle and I don't want you eating animals because they are my friends.
Okay.
God, yeah, he is so hot in that movie, though. Good Lord.
I haven't seen George of the Jungle in a long, long time.
So hot.
That is all I remember, is that he was hot. I did not remember this restaurant at the end or anything. I just remembered hot Brendan Fraser.
It's not really a restaurant. It's like a nightclub where he's singing Sinatra songs and stuff. He has like a Vegas show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is Ape, voiced by John Cleese.
Yes. I knew it was John Cleese. I couldn't think of the character name, though.
Yeah. Okay, so now that I can't do Ape's Lounge, we'll do something else. So it is me. So we are going to go for this restaurant to the heart of San Francisco, an upscale Michelin star style restaurant, except it's going to be combining best of the two worlds collide, and all of the people that serve you will be either in monkey costumes or in like George of the Jungle, like torso and palm fronds at the bottom. And it'll be a cross between like African food and high-end San Francisco food. That's it. Okay.
Okay.
Not my best, not my worst.
I like it.
Yeah.
Everyone keeps taking my ideas.
Well, it's great because you're last.
Yeah, thanks, guys. All right. Okay, so what we're going to do is it's going to become kind of a dinner theater. It's going to be the scene in the movie where his love interest introduces him to her parents. So there's going to be a bit of a fish out of water sort of fun family argument dynamic thing going on at one of the tables near you. Other than that, you're just in a nice restaurant and George of the Jungle is making a scene.
So you're just having your dinner ruined by George of the Jungle.
Well, you took the in the tree restaurant, and you took the nice. Well, nah, you didn't take my idea. I don't know what that was, Eric, but
The only other thing I thought of that I thought somebody was going to do would be, didn't he live in a really cool tree house?
Yeah.
Like, I thought it would be cool.
isn't that what Tanner
I
said?
said it was going to be in the trees.
Yeah.
But also, it's about how hot he is.
He was so focused on being hot, I wasn't sure if he had themed his restaurant to be after the tree house.
Yeah, honestly, I probably could have taken it because I wasn't going to talk for 30 seconds about how hot Brendan Fraser is.
Well, it was about the foods that might have helped him get hot. Don't disrespect my
Gotcha.
idea.
As soon as the idea came up, I latched on to doing Ape's Escape, which was like a lounge that he was singing Sinatra songs in. I'm like, I'm going to do this. This is mine. And then Jake did it, and I literally blanked for like another minute. And I couldn't.
I'm sorry, Eric.
No, it's fine. Just like I couldn't.
And the worst part is not only did I take your idea, but you remembered the details better than me. So I just like took your idea and then didn't do it justice.
I was so hewn in twain by that I could not.
Remember when the lightning rounds were like, pitch a roller coaster based on like a beloved property instead of take this very niche thing and stick it into another niche thing.
Hey, remember that the concept of lightning rounds is that we roll a fucking wheel and we just do what the wheel says?
We just got lucky before today.
That's what I'm saying. Why are we so unlucky now?
I don't think it's that we're unlucky now. I think we just got really lucky for the first few.
Oh, God. Yeah. Wait, so this is going to be the norm?
I think this is the norm.
Oh, no.
And don't forget to vote on our Twitter polls for which lightning round attraction you'd like to see us come back to at a later date.
All right, Brock, why don't you take us out of here?
Well, it looks like we've lost all of our social medias here in this spooky haunted mansion. Oh no, Jake!
What?
I can't think of any haunted mansion references.
Our Facebook is facebook.com/Main Street Musings.
And Tanner, there's some hitchhiking ghosts around our Instagram.
They're going to catch a ride on Main_Street_Musings.
And
Eric, look at the lady in that crystal ball. She's saying the name of our Twitter.
At MSM_podcast.
Was that your Jennifer Tilly?
Be sure to rate and review us, give us 5 stars, and tell your friends.
And please
Thank
don't
you.
think about this
man.
podcast episode when you rate us.
Yeah, and I think we can say we're all glad that this did not happen to the Haunted Mansion.
Hurry back. Hurry back.